Todd, why did the motorcyclist challenge the Devil's Triangle?
I don't know.
Because he heard it was a hell of a ride.
All right.
Our goal at Best Motorcycle Roads is to make your next motorcycle trip the best it can be. Episode 43 is our top 10 bucket list motorcycle roads east of the Mississippi. We did a little west of the Mississippi on the last episode. So if we have the top 10 here, I'm putting the Devil's Triangle at number 10. That is located in the mountains of eastern Tennessee. It's pretty easy to get to. And really it's the hairpin turns in elevation, like I would say. Like there's nothing crazy special about this road except there are some just S turns that are you're in first gear on the motorcycle and you are dragging, no matter what happens.
Yeah. I love this road. I wouldn't put it at number 10. I'd have it up closer to number 1. But I don't think the order matters here.
Yeah.
This road is fantastic. Elevation changes are amazing. There's times when you're, kind of just riding the edge of a cliff. You got a wall of rock on one side and a sheer drop off, on the other side without a guardrail.
Yeah.
I remember the white line that's painted on the edge of the road actually fell away because some of the road had crumbled
there.
Yeah, so you don't want to be close to that white line. It's an amazing road. We've been on it both in the daytime and in the nighttime.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's weird, right? Why would we be riding this road at night?
There was a specific reason.
The very first time, we were heading down to this area, the Tail of Dragon style area, and we probably bit off maybe a little more than we could chew, and it was a pretty big riding day. Mm-hmm. And I just remember, I don't remember exactly the town we're in, but I remember sitting at the top of that hill at that gas station, and we're like, we're not going to make it to either the hotel or this place by dark. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to still try it or not? And so we decided to go ahead and try it. And I just remember my biggest memory of that thing is I was leading, I think. And I know that Chris was riding the Harley in the very back. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if there's 5 or 6 bikes. I just remember I was coming out of the second hairpin turn. And I look up and Chris's bike, because he has that Harley with that LED super white 6000K light. Uh-huh. And I'm like, he's 40 feet above me now. I mean, I'm like, there's no way. It just didn't make any sense,
right.
And I know that we ended up turning around and coming back and doing that road in reverse on the way home. And it is. I don't know. I think it's just, I don't know if it was because it was kind of one of our very first kind of bucket list roads that we ever rode on is why we have such affection for it. And not everyone feels that way about this road. And then while I was there with you, it was an abandoned prison was there. But you've been there since.
Yeah, the second time we went there, Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary was open. You could go take tours of it. They had a restaurant inside. I think there was a brewery or something, or a distillery, something like that in there. But they have outdoor concerts. They've got stage set up, and it's really
it blows my mind because when I was there, it was a field of weeds.
It was overgrown
and an abandoned building.
Yeah, I mean, it was all the razor wire and the fence around it, but it was an abandoned prison, and
that looked like should have been
tore
down more than it should have been. Yeah. And I'm mostly excited to get back there someday again, just because I want to see that.
Yeah, so the second time there, we toured all through it, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What a cool thing. And I don't know, I think it's just, I wouldn't say we accidentally found that, but it just kind of became a kind of a hinge pin of where we've done when we're in that area. So.
Yeah.
So the number 8 road is the Great River Road. Minnesota to Louisiana, Mississippi River. You can run on both sides of the Mississippi, which is kind of cool. And it's just... the Mississippi River Valley is just unique. I mean, it is so big and so interesting. And then the locks and dams that we've talked about before, it's just so, there's nothing else like it, I don't think. And, I don't know, it's just a tribute to this kind of the longest, it's just an icon, right, of kind of the U.S. and Americana, if you want to say that, I think. Yeah. So I don't know what you think of that.
I totally agree. There's certain times of the day I like to ride that road, and I like to be on a certain side, of the river. But as the sun is starting to set, and you see it reflecting off the water. It's just amazing.
And when you get into southern Illinois as well, I mean, there's just some beautiful areas of places you don't feel like are just normally beautiful, but I mean, it's just that river bottom that happens down there. It's just amazing. I love the Great River Road.
Yeah, me too.
So the next road, number 7, no, excuse
10,
me.
9, you're on 8
It's 8.
now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The eighth road for your bucket list on the east of the Mississippi is Appalachians Mountain Road, US 421, mostly known as the Snake.
Yeah.
So this is border of Tennessee and North Carolina, so right in the Appalachian Mountains. But why would you ride this? It's honestly like a biker's dream road. I mean, I think we can figure out why they call it the Snake. But it's 400 curves and 33 miles, so that's a lot. I mean, it's manageable. You know, we'll talk about another road later with maybe more and a more dense, but 400 curves and 33 miles is really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's very sweeping. You and I have been on this road before, and it's just what you would imagine if, like, just a great, if you could design the road to ride, you're just cutting into corners, but they're not like insanely technical. It's just, it's a great ride. I mean, it just feels great.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, this is a road, our number 7 road is a road I've never been on. I've never rode motorcycles in New Hampshire. The Kankamangus Highway. That's in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. They sometimes locally call it the Kank, but it's really about this White Mountain National Forest is really, as you can imagine. So unfortunately, I've never really been up in the Northeast, but I've seen great pictures of this beautiful trees and how did it get its name? Well, there was a chief. I gotta use my cheat. Kankamangus. But it's just a Native American leader. He was a very fierce competitor, and so that's kind of where this park and the White Mountains and came from. And just lots of trees, overlooks, as you can imagine. So that would be a great one. Someday I would really like to get out east and ride more. I don't think I've rode much in the north. I don't think we've rode to Ohio on the bikes, and then we kind of trugged our way down to parts of North Carolina, but never really gotten really east, which I think would be fun. One more east road, number 6, is one called Skyline Drive, Virginia. So that's Shenandoah National Park. 105-mile road along the Blue Ridge Mountains. So Skyline Drive, because it's kind of one of those top of the mountain type views. So have you ever been to either of these two places, Todd?
I've been in Virginia, but this doesn't sound familiar to, I mean, Shenandoah sounds familiar to me, but I don't remember this road.
Yeah, I think it'd be wonderful to find some time to get out that way. I'd love to see some Pennsylvania, Virginia. There's some really neat things to see in this area. It'd be great to plan a trip in that way. So. All right, so my 6, is that what it is? 6th road, Tunnel of Trees. We've been on this one for sure. M119, Michigan. It's in the lower peninsula of northern Michigan. It's on the Lake Michigan side. So it's just a funky, narrow road that is literally a tunnel. I mean, I think that is why it's called the Tunnel of Trees. It is a literal tunnel of trees. And for me, what's cool about the Tunnel of Trees is you're like kind of just cruising down a road, and it looks like you're almost turning into a subdevelopment, and it turns into this tunnel of trees. And it just kind of appears out of nowhere and then disappears out of nowhere. And I don't know, when the first time that I rode it was coming from north to south, I actually liked south to north better now. But I don't know, like, it was just the craziest thing. It's got white lines on 2 sides, about 15 feet wide at best. I mean, it's awesome. I think you can see some better views of the lake from the south as well. But it's just so dense. Just like so many of these roads that run next to lakes and rivers, you don't see that much of it most of the time.
Yeah. Yep, I've been on this. It's been a little while, but it's a great road. That was number 5, by the way. I just had to check.
Thanks.
We didn't put our numbers next to our list.
We didn't do a good numbering job. We were so excited about the roads, right?
Right.
So number 4 then, Natchez Trace Parkway. So this starts in Natchez, Mississippi, and goes to Nashville, Tennessee. Now, we rode this road, and it is quite interesting. It's the only national park road. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
A lot of times you'll hear them refer to it as the Trace, and this was a road that was first created by Native Americans, explorers, traders, but consumer traffic only. So it's a wide 2-lane with wide shoulders.
Yeah.
That you when we were talking about it, you said like I just remember them being like manicured.
I felt like they had mowed the entire 400 some miles that we rode,
And it's
like
if
on
you
each side.
it's kind of like driving through a state park.
It is. Yeah.
But the whole thing. Well, I guess it technically
is.
it's a national park, but so it was named for Natchez Trace. It was a historic path, long time used by indigenous early settlers, and that's kind of where the name came from. But it's a bittersweet road in my opinion. Like I was so excited to try it because they kind of sell it well. Like I feel like if you were into motorcycle camping, this might be the perfect road for you.
Yep.
We're not really into that. So at times it's so beautiful and like almost so isolated, I would say, that it almost gets boring. Would you agree? Like, I mean,
well, it does, and it's a slow road too. I think the top speed is 50 miles per hour.
Correct.
And for a lot of it, it's 40 miles per hour, and it I don't know how to describe it. For me, it had this feeling of I feel like I'm on someone's private driveway approaching their house, but I mean it's 444 miles or something.
Right.
But it had this strange, like slow, manicured on both sides of the road feeling, and we didn't. You don't see restaurants. There was
You
no
see
stop
nothing.
signs. There's no stop signs.
No
there's
stop
no stop
lights, no
lights.
stop signs.
No
and there's
restaurants.
Actually,
it's not commercial at all.
correct. And you exit.
Yeah.
Like you exit from the road.
Yeah.
So like it's a 2-lane interstate, like more or less.
Slow.
But it's beautiful. Like
beautiful,
it's so nice. I don't think that I would try to ride the 400 miles.
No.
I would take a section, and I think like we rode it into Nashville, I think, from somewhere. I can't remember exactly where we got on. And that was pretty awesome. Like you kind of just ride yourself right into Nashville. And that was pretty cool. Like, so I think I would highly recommend that part. And it is great to experience. It's just not thrilling. I mean, but if you want to stop and do trails, if you want to stop and do fishing, if you would want to stop and camp, that would be the ticket for this.
Yeah, and if I remember right too, like you guys were running low on fuel, and there's just not fuel stops on the road, so you got to plan ahead and be ready to exit somewhere and drive a little ways to find fuel or food or.
Correct. Yep. There's very little right next to her because I think you're in a federal park.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure that's part of it. Like you have to kind of. So again, we've talked about this dozens of times, but if you're planning on the Natchez Trace, get a little plan once. They want to make sure you have your.
Yeah, have a good plan for that one. Yeah.
All right, the Cherohala Skyway, Tennessee, North Carolina. So this is Telecom Plains, Tennessee, to Robbinsville, North Carolina. It's just beautiful in the Appalachians. Cherohala combines Cherokee and Natahala, which is part of the Cherokee heritage. So it passes through the Natahala National Forest. Really kind of known. This might be a road you have not been on, though. I can't recall.
I feel like I was on it with you.
Maybe we did go on it that
Yeah.
year in the 2020 ride.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but it can have the same problems that we talked about on the last episode with the PCH. The elevation is so drastic, and you're in the mountains that you can get some
Fog and
clouds.
weather.
I think even, but the views are stunning. There's great places to pull over, and really because of the way it's situated in the Appalachian Mountains, you really do feel like you're kind of on top of it all. You can just look out and see all this stuff. The first time we were there, when we were riding up, it was so dense fog. And then this woman on this like crotch rocket just went like just smoking by us, and we're like, whoa, gosh, like here we are, I mean, this was one of our first long trips. I mean, both Brad and Mike were riding V-Star 650s, so we didn't. I mean, and I was riding a 1978 Goldwing, so I mean, we didn't have 100 horse between us. So yeah, it was awesome though. I mean, but yeah, again, something to be careful of is thinking ahead about the weather.
Yeah.
All right, our number 2 road. This road is amazing. The Blue Ridge Parkway. Virginia, North Carolina, again, still in the Appalachians. It's been named America's favorite drive, 69 miles of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And Blue Ridge comes from the blue like it looks blue when you're kind of looking at that. And I did a little research to figure out what that is. There's some of these native trees in the area have isoprenes, and when those react with sunlight and like kind of the morning air, it creates a bluish haze. So that's kind of why the Blue Ridge Parkway is called that. So
Gotcha.
what a beautiful piece of road. I mean, what I think most I remember about the Blue Ridge Parkway is it's almost like an accident when you're getting on there. You're just like, is this the road? Like, it's like the bridges are very historic looking. I mean, they're very cool, and everything is very well grown up. So you just see a lot of vegetation and such. I don't know if you remember riding that.
I do. I think what I remember most is there weren't bridges going over.
That's correct.
Yeah, overpasses. Like you were always at the top.
You were always
and
on the
when you
top.
exited, you went down.
Yep. They designed
under,
it specifically
yeah.
that way. And that was kind of the whole point, is to enjoy the mountains and do that. And now I know that this area, there's pieces of this that are closed and maybe closed for a long time. That last big storm that happened in 2024 here took out some pieces of both the Blue Ridge and the Cherohala Highway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And, the kicker is some of these are like, maybe it was only like 50 or 100 foot of road that got damaged. But it was, 50 or 100 feet down, too. Yeah. So I don't know how they're going to fix that. I mean, how do you do that? Do you put a bridge in then, like in that section and leave it? So be careful here if you're traveling or thinking about this. You want to plan ahead and make sure you check the locals.
Yeah.
So, our number one road, I think, no surprise, Tail of the Dragon. Deals Gap. It's North Tennessee and North Carolina, really flirting around with the Great Smoky Mountains there. So sounds like you want to say miles. 318 curves in 11 miles. Wow. And then the reason why it's called the Tail of the Dragon, if you kind of zoom out and look at it, it looks kind of like a dragon, the shape of the road. So wow, what a cool place.
Yeah, it really is.
And I don't know that this has to be a multiple time thing, but you really do have to ride this road at least one time. I mean, go there once. It's cool. I mean, it's mostly like what I think is just like, it's a motorcycle road, right? Like, I mean, everyone that rides, there's so many motorcycles there when you go, and people are just fun and cool to talk to. What were your thoughts when you've been there?
Oh, I agree. The very first time we rode it, I remember just this feeling of like, who designed this road? What were they thinking? Like, you can't get anywhere fast. But yeah, it's just a dream to ride because you're never just standing up going straight on us. It's constantly just left and right, always working it.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is you have to be really careful. Don't get too close to the middle lane, the middle of the lane, because there's plenty of people out there that are trying to break the land speed record on that road, and they're coming across the center. Mostly motorcyclists across the center, but cars occasionally do as well. Hit it midweek if you can to avoid the weekends.
That's true.
Yeah. But, at one end of the road, there's, some great shops and the restaurants.
That's Deals Gap.
Yeah, Deals Gap has, just fun things to do there.
And the Tree of Shame is there, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So they kind of pick up all the parts that get hurt when people wreck, which they wreck a lot.
Yeah.
And they hang them in the Tree of Shame. And then one of my favorite other parts is there's a couple, my favorite one is Killboy, and they're doing pictures all the time there too. So like you can then log on later and say I was here on this date, and you can see the picture. They take professional style pictures.
And I always buy their pictures too.
I do.
It's nice to have a few pictures of me riding my motorcycle, and they're standing in the perfect spot. They've got great cameras. They know exactly what they're doing. They get great shots. So I'm happy to give them 25, 30, 50 bucks, whatever.
It's worth it.
It's totally worth it. I've got those on my phone, and someone said, "What do you ride?" And I'll just show them a picture of me, riding Tail of the Dragon. They're like, "Whoa, that's cool!" So
it's such a great place.
I always do it. Yeah,
and kind of like bonus bucket list is there's so many great roads in this area. Like,
oh gosh, yes.
I know we rode Little Switzerland that time, and that was just insane. I mean, it was probably the slowest road that we've ever rode because it was so It was so crazy and
Yeah.
interesting. So just do your research, take your time. There's motorcycle specific places to stay. You can stay right at Deal's Gap. They've got little cabins that are there. And I don't know, like, just do your research and have some fun
Yeah.
and stick around. And
Isn't Moonshine 29 real close by? There?
oh, yeah, Moonshiner 29 is in there. I mean, they're
129
just,
29 or 129.
yeah,
No,
they're
Moon-
all in there. You just got to do the research. Back of the Dragon, the Snake. There's 666, I think, is in there too.
Yeah.
It's just, there is a ton of great roads, but it's all kind of, this is the Tail of Dragons what makes it it. So yeah, look up some motorcycle specific Airbnbs in the neighborhood too. This is a section we call the Toolkit. We share motorcycle gear review, and other riding tips. In the Toolkit today, Todd, I know we've talked about this a lot, but it's so important with this kind of normal toolkit stuff, the battery pack, the mini tire kit, and the flashlight, just to keep those things, I thought, just is good. But anytime you're riding in some of these areas, we talk about the elevation, right? Like, you need to bring up some extra layers of clothes. You know, we've talked about this for a while, but if you don't have layers, man, it can really, like, when it gets cold, it's really nice to kind of be able to kind of regulate yourself a little bit. I talked to the body armor people and got that in, and oh my gosh, I'm actually in love with that gear. It's kind of like, I call it long underwear with armor in it. It's got a base layer, and then you can put pants over the top, and then you wear a shirt, and then a armored, and then you can just wear whatever you want over the top if you want a hoodie or something. So when I think of layering now, I really think of that because it allows you to just two or three layers if you need it, throw rain gear on top. It's really great because some days when you're hitting some of these mountainous areas, you're going to have a cold day and you're going to have a warm day.
Yeah.
And
is the stuff that you bought set up for warm weather or cold weather? Or?
What I have is for cold, but what's cool about it is they actually have a set of warm weather gear as well, and then you can take the armor from one and put it into the other. So the armor's not permanent. You can move it around. Yeah. So what's really nice about that is as you're getting towards winter, you can grab the winter shell and kind of fill the armor with that as well. So yeah, it's brilliant. If you like the podcast today, please like, subscribe, or sign up for our BMR Rider Alerts. It's our way of keeping you in the loop, and we promise no spam.
Keep the spirit of adventure alive, and remember, bikes, friends, and endless roads, the stories ride forever. Take care.